Welcome to our channel. Sasha and I are here to give a reaction here on Celebrity Royal News Reports. And today we are going to be reacting to another YouTuber's channel on Popcorn Planet, where Andy Signore, who is the host of the program, is also discussing the recent press conference by Tony Buzbee, the head of the Buzbee law firm, a very well-known attorney throughout the country who is based in Texas, and through his firm in the Ava Law Group now has over 120 victims that have come forward. He announced there were over 3,000 individuals that contacted him directly requesting to be a plaintiff in a future lawsuit, but so far he's accepted 120 of them, and half of them men, half of them women, who are all alleging to be Diddy victims. And Andy Signore has a great channel. He kind of brings humor to tough situations, and he makes it, you know, more lighthearted than it otherwise would be. Such a dark and dismal situation. You have to sometimes have some humor. Like Sasha likes to just keep her zen attitude at all times and a calm mind as we listen to these horrific crimes and the escalation of which. So let's all try to keep a little zen in our hearts and minds as we listen, and send prayers to the victims as well. Let's, without any further delay, get started.
Shocking press conference just happened where over 120 accusers have joined forces against Diddy. We have Christopher Melcher here to break it down. Lewis, Kim, we're all here, but we're all excited because now Christopher Melcher's in the building. Welcome back, sir. How you doing?
Pretty good. Glad to be here.
This is a tough one, man. I'm glad you're here. I know you got to read about it. You didn't watch it directly, but I want to share a quick portion just so people can get the gist of it. Overall, though, Christopher, it was 120 accusers that this Buzbee law firm is mentioning. And you had told me this, but Buzbee law firm's a legit firm, has done a lot of successful cases over the years, and he seems to be taking this quite seriously, so much so, in fact, there's now a Diddy hotline. You can see it behind him up there in the big red letters for anybody who's wants to call in. Apparently, they've already gotten thousands of calls they're trying to get through, but right now 120 cases they will be filing separately over the next 30 days. And horrific stuff they sort of alluded to. Obviously, we'll get those details as those cases come forward. But Christopher, before we even get your thoughts, I want to share this bit because this was pretty shocking. Also shocking, we just made a video. 25 of those 125 were minors. This is the first time we've heard that where it's not all adults. We'll come to that in a second. But first, let's talk about this here in this video.
That's shocking.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. But I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but will also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused or they're witnessing, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen, but made no effort to stop it. Any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on, but failed to stop it. Any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it, but did nothing to report it or stop it. And any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme.
He goes in, there's a lot more, the theme being that he would bring them in with drinks, lace those drinks. If you didn't drink said drinks, you were kicked out of the party. Once they took the drink and sort of passed out, they had their way with these people. And that's the theme that was happening ongoing. But so, Christopher, I want to get your reactions, but I was taken by that part where he's really calling it out there and putting it out like, we've all suspected that there's a lot of celebrities and people that are nervous. He's saying, oh, we know who you are. Don't worry. We're getting there. We're coming to you. You better come forward now. What is your reaction? What do you think of that sort of way he's doing it?
Well, sure. So first of all, Tony Buzbee is a serious lawyer, and he's a very skilled trial attorney. So this is not one of these kind of ambulance chasing lawyers. This guy's the real deal in terms of being able to persuade a jury. He's also been very successful financially. And you can see videos about him. I'm not really a big fan of how ostentatious, his lifestyle is, because that always makes me wonder about a lawyer not, having that much money. But this guy has a large lifestyle. Now, the thing is, this is not a criminal case. It's a civil case that he would be bringing, 120 separate civil actions. Some people have talked earlier about, it's a class action. No, it's not a class action. That involves, like say there's a plane crash and a whole bunch of people die in one incident, or they're injured by a product, let's say. So there are certain cases where there's a bunch of victims injured in one incident could potentially have that class certified and it's one lawsuit. This is not like that. Even though there's this common theme that he's alleging, each individual plaintiff would have to file their case, 120 different cases. Now, it's not criminal, it's civil. That is a huge difference to keep in mind. On the indictment, right now, we only see Diddy indicted, meaning he's the only defendant that we know about that's criminally charged. There could be other criminal charges out there already that we do not know about or we haven't connected. I would cite to Matthew Perry. If those of us who have followed that case, we know when those indictments dropped against various folks involved in that, there had previously been a indictment against the ketamine queen, but it wasn't relatable to Matthew Perry. Okay, so there could already be some cases out there against people that are pending, but we just haven't connected them up to it, or they might charge those other folks later in the criminal case. On a civil, the standard is much lower. Being present while a crime is being committed and failing to intervene is not a crime unless you have a duty to intervene. People who have a duty to intervene would be like a police officer, a mandatory reporter would have to report it. But generally speaking, as horrible as it sounds, like we can watch a crime happen, do nothing, and not report it, and it's generally not a crime. And that's significant because...
That's something I just learned. I didn't know that. It just sort of defies a normal sense of ethics and morality and right and wrong. I mean, it just shows you in society that not everybody values those things anymore. And the fact that in this case, I think in a civil case, you might have more, you definitely have more leeway to win judgments against people and have punitive damages as well as actual damages. Because you look at the O.J. Simpson case, for example. Here's Ezzy coming into our review. In the O.J. Simpson case, you had the same situation. And I'm sorry for the distraction. Let's continue.
If people were watching and not participating or facilitating, it's not a crime. Horrible, not a crime. But in a civil case, the standard's lower. And so those folks who maybe watched but didn't participate or facilitate could be dragged in. Now, Buzbee was trying to make that distinction, saying, hey, I'm not just going after people who were in the room. Somebody would have had to have done something. But then he kind of broadens it to saying, like, well, hey, if it was in the hotel, I'm going to sue the hotel too. Okay, did the hotel really know what was going on? Maybe they did. So he's going to sue the pants off of everybody. And one of the reasons why, and we've been thinking about this, is, Diddy's a wealthy guy, and he has, catalog and assets and ongoing streams of income. But
let's keep that in mind, assets and catalog and ongoing streams of income, because the bottom line is it doesn't matter where he is in the world, he's still making money off of that catalog. I really hope that people will take that into account, that, the whole morality, ethics, and, what does it mean in today's world to support an artist like P Diddy? Just like what I had heard recently in another article was about R. Kelly, how his music downloads and streaming actually increased after his indictments and arrest and jail and everything. So, he's still a very wealthy person, behind bars or not, and that money is just piling up somewhere, probably, presumably, and with financial managers responsible for these types of things when you get to that level of fame. And I'm sure it's no different than P. Diddy. And that's why what's really frightening is, as we learn more about the depths and involvement of these cases and these individuals who crosses, into many states throughout the nation, over into the UK, many other countries probably involved. This type of trafficking runs deep. He had yachts, he had private jets. It could be any private island. There could be private islands we don't know about, or destinations in third world countries that don't have the laws and the barbaric activity that occurred here on U.S. soil in these hotels. What we learned from the Cassie Ventura lawsuit was that was occurred at that Continental Hotel right in Century City in Los Angeles. At the time it existed, well-known, established, reputable hotel that, of course, just because you close the doors and go out of business, they're all owned by the same corporate entity. They just close up shop one place, open it up in another, and in a new brand name. It doesn't really change the fact that these operations are going on. And that's the thing, is that now with these allegations really coming to light, it's making bringing such an awareness to these causes. And I'm hoping, that anybody listening that can help bring awareness and healing to these victims, through the compassion and through the love and believing in victims and supporting the victims, and not being somebody who would stand silent and watch a crime occur like this, and be able in your own conscience to live with that without reporting it to the property authorities, whether as a mandated reporter or not. And so it's hard in today's world to maintain all of the, balance in these challenging times when you hear about these crimes, and it just makes you want to cry, and it's adds up, piles on your heart, and it just tears you apart. You don't know what to do, and it's hard to know it's true. But deep down inside, I think you know how to feel alive, and you don't have to take advantage of other people to make your heart sing. I'm hoping you enjoy this content, and if so, please like and subscribe and share this video so we can keep going. Thank you.